Hello there everybody. Before I start this video, I'd just like to say feedback would really be appreciated. So if you watch this video the whole way through, just be sure to leave a comment saying what I should improve on, or talking a little more about this topic, which is the Nostalgia Rant. Nostalgia's dumb and overhyped and I hate it. I've seen about like 12 rants on YouTube that call themselves the Nostalgia Rant, but none of them have anything to say about the actual emotion of nostalgia itself. It's more about just remembering a video game fondly or thinking about this TV show and looking at it through rose-tinted glasses. But here is the true expose on the emotion behind nostalgia. Whenever I go back and try to experience something I haven't seen in 5 or even 10 years, it feels weird to say the least. I feel a lot more comfortable listening to songs and watching TV shows and videos from like the past 3 or so years, cause otherwise I just feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience. I'm just watching myself watching The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, for example. It could be a great show for all I know, but I'll never really know cause then I have to step out of my comfort zone a little too much. I used to watch it as a kid. I don't know if I liked it more so than I tolerated it. Definitely screwed me up quite a bit. I haven't watched that show in like 7 or so years. And like a couple years ago, I see some clips of it on YouTube and it just doesn't feel right. It's not like something new that I'm just experiencing now. I feel like I'm having memories of a past life. I don't know, I hear like rappers talking all the time about it because like they're getting pretty young nowadays. Like Lil Pump is like my age, it's still kind of hard to believe. I just like to point this out too, like if you use a hip hop beat that samples the Billy and Mandy theme song, I'm really sorry, but I'm not gonna listen to your song. I haven't heard anyone talk about it objectively that didn't watch it growing up, so I don't really know how anyone else feels about it, other than the show being kinda good in memory. But besides that, let's think back to something that's universally acclaimed. It was when it came out, it still is today. Many consider it to be one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time, Speakerboxxx The Love Below by Outkast. That's an album I haven't heard in maybe a decade. Like, Hey Ya was probably the only song that I heard off the album since I was a child. And I decided maybe I was gonna give the whole album a chance again. This is like a couple months ago, back in May. I pulled up the full album and I legitimately couldn't get halfway through the second track without pausing it and just pacing around for like 15 minutes. I really wish I could get through it, but I can't. I'd really be interested to know if anyone else has had a similar experience. If you have, feel free to leave a comment below. Like, I don't understand how people feel this way. I could just brush it off and say like, oh, it's a thing that happens when you're an adult. But like, I see people younger than me get nostalgic over stuff that happened when they were like 8 or something. And like, the only thing that I could even consider close to nostalgia is like stuff that happened like last summer, for example. Summer before even. Maybe even 2 summers ago. And that's as far back as it goes, really. Otherwise, I just feel pure embarrassment or like even shame to some degree. I know I shouldn't be ashamed of stuff, but I just am for some reason. I guess because I was born in 2000, like I should be considered a 2000s kid. But the thing about that is that I experienced a lot of things differently from these quote-unquote 2000s kids. I didn't go on Newgrounds or YouTube or anything for a while. The internet in general was off limits because my parents didn't approve of it a lot. I'd go over to friends' houses and watch stuff, but I would just be so scared of the internet. That's what they did to me. And like people will say like even then like, oh, what if you go over to like pbskids.org or something? That was my shit back then. Like I don't even remember going onto that website, to be completely honest. So I can't say whether or not it was my quote unquote shit. I'm sorry for saying the SH word, but you know, it really do be like that sometimes. And I think the biggest problem I have with nostalgia, like overall, is how it ties into the idea of growing old. I've seen a lot of, like, especially with music, people are gonna grow out of exploring new music and sort of just stick to what they listened to as a kid. And like, they're not gonna seek out new music. As a music fan myself, that's just horrifying to me. And like, part of it too is that I might not even have that much time in my schedule to actively explore new music. That's the worst of all, I think. The idea that society is gonna control you when you're an adult. The idea that like, you're gonna be stuck working a terrible office job, and the only positive emotions you're gonna really have going for you is nostalgia from when you were a teenager and you didn't have to pay bills and whatnot. Like, honestly, the idea of being trapped is just terrifying to me. I hate being trapped. I hate being controlled by other people. Like, feeling nostalgic is just a symbol of being controlled by other people, I think. if I'm being completely honest too, like, I've legitimately wanted to kill myself because I've been controlled by other people so much. But yeah, that's just me moping and being sad about not having the same nostalgia as other people. I'm sorry if this video upset you. I really didn't mean for it to, I just sort of went off. If you have any suggestions for me to not be so depressed, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.